This is a 1972 Caterpillar 3306 diesel that I've just spent the last over 9 months painstakingly rebuilding. My name's Tyler, you guys are watching Diesel, and I'm about to start this thing for the first time, and I really, really hope that I didn't screw it up. Did you get a haircut, Bailey? So, this is probably the last big item on the list here. And if you look, it's pretty chooch. So when we were running this on the machine and we would shut this down, you could hear as the turbo kind of spooled down. And I don't think it's a bad job, but I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I might drop it off. I might get a new one. So for those of you guys that don't know, just real quick, this is kind of cool. Let's just talk about how turbos work. So basically you have exhaust in and there's a turbine wheel in there like we saw, and exhaust out. And then you have your air in right here, and then this is the air out in your intake. So basically what happens is hot exhaust gases go into the turbo, the exhaust side turbine, and then witchcraft happens and you go faster. So kind of cool, really simple. I know a lot of people don't know that though. Alright, so I got my timing plate fixture from Caterpillar. I think this was maybe 250 bucks from the dealer. So this goes just like this on here. I think. I hope. Just like this. Yeah, okay. So you put the two over the dowels, and then you can put a couple bolts in it if you want. And then this tang in here, if you look, it's just typical of any injection pump. It's off center, right? So one side is bigger than the other. So every 360 degrees, this can only go one way, right? So that mates with the tang on the drive shaft there, and that can only go one way as well. So what we do is we take this front cover off and we spin that drive shaft until it locks in with the plate. And then we tighten the nut on the front of the drive shaft. So let's get this thing timed up. In an ideal world, I would have had this timed up before I painted it, but sometimes things just don't work out with timing. So now we have access, and this is loose obviously, so we can spin our drive shaft. So then over here, we know our fixture wants to go this way. So I'm gonna start it on the dowels. I'm just gonna turn this drive shaft until she wants to lock in. All right. So that's in, so I know my shaft is in the right spot. And up here, I can't turn that obviously, so now we just tighten that nut. 250 foot-pounds, and there's just like a little tapered collar locking sleeve in there. See, that's pretty snug. So now we are all timed up. We can go ahead and just throw our injection pump on. I was kind of lamenting the fact that I didn't have the style injection pump with the timing pin, but honestly, this seems to be perfectly fine. You just have to get that fixture. Luckily, Kat had it. I think I got it on and in the drive. I just can't get this O-ring going. Oh boy, forgot the gasket. What a good day. What a good day. That's better. All right, I'm gonna bolt this guy down. All right, I got the injection pump. 3 bolts down here, new O-rings. That's our fuel feed, new O-rings in there. And there's maybe 6 around here. Yep. Everything torqued down. That's kind of a load off because that's all timed up now. So everything complicated on the engine is done. So I ordered a new exhaust manifold because the old one was just maybe a little punky, and the last thing I want is exhaust leaks with this. So I'm kind of going through that now. So really, we can put the breather on, maybe the, no, isn't that nice? Yeah. Typical, whatever. It's not a show car, it's a heavy duty engine. We can do that, we can do the starter, maybe torque some bolts down and stuff.
This is the biggest engine you ever seen.
Oh. I come out here thinking we're gonna spend some quality time working on the engine. And what does he want to do? You want to sit in the ditch witch, don't you? Yeah. All right, I think we got that. Whoops. All right, so hey, can I talk for a second or no? So I got my 2 hard lines here. This is just a hand primer pump. Pretty slick because you can prime right through all the injectors, but I think I'm just gonna spray a little bit of, excuse me, sir. I think I'm just gonna spray a little bit of black on these quick, and then this one's our inlet, this one's our outlet. All right, so we're supposed to get this front crank pulley bolt to 230 foot-pounds, which in my mind seems impossible. So before we do that, I'm gonna Loctite her up real nice. future Tyler will curse me when I try to take it off and it does not go well. Wow. Holy cow. I rubbed the pin on my pulley, but alright, that's not coming off. No way. Okay, so back here, these I can't really find in the book. I think it's supposed to be 180 is what they want. I don't have them very tight. Oh, that's pretty tight. So if you look on these, this is very similar on a lot of heavy duty diesels for like heavy equipment. The torque converter, there's a big O-ring that goes here, and the torque converter kind of will like weep fluid as it works, and there's a scavenge pump in the bottom of the torque converter. And this whole like cavity, it's not filled with fluid, but there'll be level and the torque converter maybe down here. So this will be wet, you know, fluid will be slinging through here and stuff like that. The rear main seal keeps it out. The torque converter keeps it out on this side. But then if you look, because our starter goes there, we actually have a starter gasket on this, which is kind of funny and unique. Oh, jeez. The starter is huge. When my dad and I went and looked at these cats, I remember that was one thing. We looked at the starter and saw the starter and we said, the starter's brand new. Can't let it go to scrap. Oh, I don't know if I can get back there.
Oh, click. You gonna help me? Yeah. Are you gonna help me? Oh. Boy, I don't think I'm gonna get it much tighter than that.
Here's where we're at. I think we're about done, except for the turbocharger. Next thing we gotta do is we gotta put the exhaust manifold on. So once we get the exhaust manifold on, get that torqued down, then we can put our injector lines on because those go over the exhaust manifold, right? Once we do that, we can set our turbo on because our turbo goes on somewhere up here. We can hook up our oil return line, our oil supply line, and then we can hook up our piping. So that'll be our inlet, and then our air intake sits on top of there. So I think I'm pretty good, but we have a problem with the turbo. Yeah, I showed you guys that thing was pretty slopped out. So I did actually drop it off to a shop here in Detroit. I forget what it was. Maybe I should have called Area Diesel, but they haven't called me yet because they didn't know what was going on. A reman from Cat's $2,000, like $2,100. And then the shop's probably gonna quote me $1,400, so that kind of sucks. But I might have one idea. We got a new exhaust manifold because the other one was corroded on the back and it needed to be probably machined, so it made more sense just to get a new one. And while I was at it, I got a new, this is, I believe, the outlet of the turbo, and there's two steel rings that seal on there. And this is the main elbow for the exhaust. I got new ones of those. The rest of the stuff I blasted and cleaned up, and I'm just throwing some high temp black on it. Everything's primed right now. So back to the turbo. If you guys watched this video up here where I got a D333C from the junkyard out of a 977K machine, that's actually the crank that's in this. I bought the whole engine, and when I tore it down, I was like, man, this is a bummer. because it had gotten water down in it in the junkyard, but it looked like it had been freshly remanned. The turbo off that engine is right here, and if you see, it's got that cat reman sticker on it, 0R5895. So this turbo is a probably lightly used, maybe 1,000-hour cat reman turbo. The problem is, at the junkyard, he started scrapping the machine, hit it with the claw, broke this off, broke this. But really, all we need is a CHRA. So stay with me, guys. I know it looks like a stretch because it probably sat out in the rain and got all kinds of rain on it. Won't spin because stuff in there is gummed up. But come on, we got to tear it down and at least see. Because if that CHRA, that's the center part with the turbines on it, is good, then I'm just going to clean it up, put my housing on here, and we're going to run that thing because that'll save me a lot of money. And this is probably a really good turbo. Oh, that's it. Fins are broke. Oh, that's a super boner. I bet this thing was in good shape. Well, I guess there is some play in there. Yeah. So, probably wasn't any good anyways. But I took the old turbo to Superior Turbo. They're here in Detroit. And they called me up and said, well, we can find the center part here, the CHRA, but the exhaust housing on yours is bad and we can't find a new one. So we can find you a whole new turbo for $1,400. And I said, I actually have the exhaust housing I need, and it might be in pretty good shape. So I still want to take this off and take this by to them, and we'll see if they can use this. If they can, that'll be sweet. They'll rebuild it. They said about $1,100. If not, then we'll just get a new turbo and put it on. I got most of the exhaust parts painted, except for the stupid manifold because they just lathered it in Cosmoline, and I have no idea how to get that stuff off. Look at that guy up there. You enjoying your time? They look pretty comfy. So if anyone has any good ideas on how to get Cosmoline off that, let me know. Other than that, I'm going to work on that, and I'll see you guys when we're ready to put an exhaust manifold in. Fortunately, I didn't order enough studs. I only ordered 9-10 studs, and I needed 12, but manifold's all painted. So once we drop this guy on, then we can drop on our injector lines and start the home stretch here before we fire it up. I'll just have to come back and put the other studs in. Man, this stuff is heavy. Wow, look at that. That looks nice. I would recommend getting, I didn't get Caterpillar brand, but like OEM grade hardware for this. Because these washers are big, thick washers. Just the way the hole is. And then it's pretty hefty torque too, so I remember when we were putting the head on the other one, we just had some regular whatever studs in there and it just snapped right off when I tried to torque it down. Well, this picture does me no good. I would think right there. I can put that on backwards though if I wanted to, so it's gotta be. Alright, so we'll torque those down eventually, but I want to make sure we get everything lined up for the turbo. That looks pretty good. So we've got our elbow that goes up there and out. Turbo sits here. Elbow goes in there. But now, see, I was waiting to put the injection lines on because they go over the manifold. So let's do that. I have no idea which line goes anywhere. I just know that it's, 1, 2, 3. So this one actually looks like it might go right here. More than one spot. I'm not sure why they put these bends in the lines. If someone knows, leave a comment below. How was your day at work? Luke and Lisa are gonna be sad when the ditch witch leaves. Alright, lines look good.
Do you think you can hear my crunching in your audio?
I could probably find it.
Is it loud?
No.
No.
Not too bad.
Can't you get?
This one started.
It's not tightening.
You know, that's the problem.
What do you want to do for dinner?
I don't know. I kind of feel like burgers.
I'm hungry.
All right. So the top here, I'm gonna bring it down close. But I'm not gonna tighten them because I wanna leave these loose. We'll bleed the whole system out before we try and start it. So we'll see fuel come out from there. And we'll know we're bled out. All right, I think we're good until the turbo. And I do not know when they're gonna have that back to me. I'd say hopefully a week or so. So in the meantime, I think that's my oil pressure port. I'm not 100% sure. I gotta figure that out. Our turbo oil feed line goes in here. We'll put that on when the turbo comes in. I'll put the throttle arm on. I can hook up a fuel inlet. We could try and bleed the system. I think we're good back here. This is another oil feed line. That's just sitting in there. And then up here, I believe this is like intake manifold pressure if I wanted, so I'll plug that off. And these two are for coolant temperature sensors, I believe. I'll just probably plug those off for now. Other than that, put oil in it. You can see, I think it's just leaking out my drain for the bottom. But we're close, so I'll probably go through some of this little stuff, and I will see you guys back when I get a turbo. It's just about time to hear this baby run, and I am excited. Not only to hear it run, but also to have it done.
There she is. Looks good. They didn't paint it, which kind of sucks because I would want to paint the air and the exhaust housing separate, but we'll see. Let's go home and throw it on. Oh, jeez. I don't think they clocked this right. And that's a bit of a bummer. Oh, okay, there we go. I'm using Bailey's shampoo on this. Thanks, Bailey. It's still not gonna go in. Once you get past the first O-ring, you get rewarded with another. I don't trust my Craftsman torque wrench, so. Boy, I can't get that back one. Got our new gasket for our oil return down here. So one thing, I don't think I can prime the oil system on this. I was looking and it's really not set up for that. So I'm just going to give the turbo a little bit of oil. I'm sure they put Ultra Slick on it or something. I'm sure they oiled it good when they rebuilt it, but it's just going to take a minute of cranking to get oil up here, so. And we can do our big old exhaust elbow. So this all seals with these rings here. And it actually looks like it might go together okay. Piston type rings are going to be a fight. There we go. This one has a nice little direction on it for me. Thanks for the shampoo, Bailey. Tight fits. They come apart hard too. I maybe should have put this one together first. Oh, that's nice. Alright, I think she's fully assembled. Sitting here right now, I can't believe it myself, and I'll probably always be second guessing myself on this engine, like I do with every other big thing I put together. But I think we need to put oil on it. We need to get fuel to it, prime the fuel system, and put batteries to it. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I think we need to try and fire it. All right, I got my funnel, my dirt magnet, extra super clean. If you guys haven't seen, I bought this specifically for you guys. And then the first thing we're gonna add is this Lucas Oil break-in additive. So, I don't know, it's got zinc in it or something, high pressure for flat tap at cams and lifters, which is exactly what we have. I almost feel like I should put 2 bottles in just because this is so, it takes 7.5 gallons of oil. But we'll do 1 and see. And then I'm just gonna run the cheapo. This is like Tractor Supply brand. It's Traveler 1540 diesel oil. Just because we're only gonna run this for like an hour or 2, and then we'll change it out as a break-in oil. But I got this, and then I got a 5-gallon bucket too. Oh, this is almost too tall. So one question I have for you guys is long-term oil. Would you run in here? Would you run like a full synthetic, like a T6 Rotella, or what? This is the fun part of the rebuild where you get to see all the stuff you did wrong, where it leaks oil, etc., etc. Plenty of oil in it. Yep. That'll go down quite a bit once we start her up. No one's happy about the weather. Alright, so I got this out of the 1K machine at the yard. So I got my starter switch on, and that's actually got all the wires, so I believe like these two go to our alternator probably. And then I've got my start. It's even got a glow plug wire on it right here, although we're not going to use that right now. So then I just got, oh, that's kind of a boner. I got some battery cables from Menards. I don't know if this is going to work for us. Yeah. I don't think so. I think these are going back. It's kind of tough because it takes 2 batteries, you know? What do you think, little man? The engine's bigger than you. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Alright, so one other thing is, I don't have the radiator. I'm not going to get the radiator because the radiator is bigger than me. But I do want to put some water in this just to run it. So I'm just going to do some PVC stuff here. I think we can just do something like so. Luke's going to rearrange my sockets for me. Thanks, buddy. You want to show everyone your new car? Say beep beep. Hey, say beep beep. Yeah. I got peak final charge. I don't know if this is what I'll run it long term. If you guys actually have any recommendations of what I should long term, I would love to hear them. But for right now, it should be a good coolant just to get her started. Stuff's expensive though, like $15 a gallon. What? Nobody thought it was actually going to go off without a hitch, right? So if you look at this, the way this is it's like an L and it's a solid piece. So depending on your stack up of your head gasket, and your block, right, then this could end up in a different spot. This head is just up a little bit too high. So when I put this together, 2 bolts hold this into the head, 2 bolts hold it down. It just was like too high. And I, took all the bolts loose and got it to go and tightened it, but of course it didn't seal down here. Also, everything's probably coming around to bite me because for some reason I didn't replace this piece of hose. And we all know that probably was not smart. So, okay, I don't know why, but I actually have an extra gasket laying around. So my plan to get this to line up was literally just to shim it with another gasket. So let's try that and see if it doesn't leak. I already ordered like a 3-pack of gaskets. So if that's not the way to do it, then let me know in the comments and I will fix it. This video will be posted a while before this goes back in the machine. I'm sure I will have a punch list, so I will have ample opportunity to fix it. Okay. I got her full. It took like probably 6 gallons. I had to top it off with water, which I know is a no-no. But I'm gonna let it sit and see if it leaks out at all. Next thing we gotta do, I think Tractor Supply has some battery cables that'll work, so let's run out there and see if we can get a nice set of battery cables. All right, these should be a little better. Tractor Supply had the goods. Alright, so this one will be our positive. You'll be able to tell it's positive because it's black. Just kidding. Then this is our negative. They direct negative right to the starter. On big stuff like this, they don't go to the frame. We've entered this stage of life. Let's just touch these two and see. Okay. Alright, I just want to make sure we got 24 volts. And we do. We got 25. Alright, so I think we can roll it over. So I just want to see, number one, if it rolls over. Number two, if we crank it for a minute, will we get any oil pressure? Alright, so let's see. Man, this sucker's got some compression. Wow. Getting any oil pressure? Not yet. Probably gonna take a while. A lot of cranking. Here, can you sit here and watch that and see if we get oil pressure for me? For Dada? Also, no leaks, which is awesome. And it didn't try and fire on us like the Michigan did. We were just trying to prime it with oil and the thing like freaking took off. Alright, I think we need some help. It's a couple days later. I think it's like 3 days later. To be honest with you guys, I'm pretty nervous, so I've been maybe a little bit like delaying it in my mind. But we gotta start this thing. So thinking about it, one thing I'm just super concerned about every time I start a diesel like this is it gonna run away on me? Don't know, you never know, right? But I have an idea. So we've done this before. So what I'm gonna do is, I think these are already all loose, and I will make sure they're loose. And we'll get some fuel bleeding through them. But I will make sure, I believe this is off here. And then I don't know why I can't like make it go on more. But we'll just make sure that with those loose, it's not pumping a ton of fuel with it off. And then when I switch it to on, it pumps fuel, right? So if we do that before we even tighten those injector lines up, then at least we'll know that we have the ability to cut fuel to it, because it's not like a gas where we can just clip the spark plug wire or the wire to the coil, you know, like we have to shut fuel off to this thing. Otherwise she's gonna go until she doesn't wanna go anymore, and that's not good. So I'm gonna loosen this up because I wanna see oil come out of here. And I'm gonna make sure those are loose and put some fuel to it, and then we should be ready to go. That's good and loose, so we should be able to see oil come out of there if it starts pumping. Okay. All right, I've been pumping this for a long time, and I don't have anything yet, and it's gonna take a while to get oil anyways, so may as well crank her a little bit. All right, so potentially the most important thing is having a block of wood ready to seal, just in case anything goes awry. Oh, we'll take her in some light rolls. Yep, okay. Well, it's a good way to make a mess. Let's roll it over some more, and I kind of think we could maybe get some oil pressure too. I'm surprised we don't. All right, we got great oil pressure. Check that out. That's awesome. I'm guessing I just gotta pump her some more, huh? Better get a clamp on that guy. So now with my bleeder off, oh yeah, see that? I'm like trying to hang on to this being clean for a minute. And clearly that's not gonna happen. Oh my goodness, there's so much diesel. We're good from 236. I think this is enough to where I can see now. What I wanna do is I wanna roll it over, and if it's pumping fuel while I'm rolling it over, no. I gotta figure out how to make sure that it's not pumping fuel when I don't want it to pump fuel. Pumping a ton of fluid in that position. So let's turn it to this position and see what it says. Still pumping fluid, but we saw an ejection event. Did you guys see that? But when we have it this way, we do not see one. All we see is the fluid just coming out like the gear pump's pumping it, which is probably the case. So I can safely say that this way is off. I'm going to tighten them down, and we'll bleed out the rest of them. Okay, we got plenty of fuel. So now roll it over with it off and make sure it does not start or smoke or do anything that resembles anything fun. Oh, we got blocking ready. Throttle is off. All right, so I think we can shut it off. Now, all right, I can shut it off. That is the single-handed most important part. I got scared. Oh, she's a runner. I'll tell you what, I'm not an earmuff guy, but that motherfucker is loud in this garage. Dogs are barking in the neighborhood. It's a great day. I just want to say the CTP parts were of the highest quality. I was super impressed with them. Those guys were super cool. I owe you guys all a huge thanks. But I hope this was worth it for you guys. I hope you guys get, the exposure you want. To me, even if they don't want to work with me anymore because I was like 6 months late on this project, I will still be buying CTP parts because what else do you need? The thing runs great. When I was putting it together, you could tell. Other than that, that's it. This thing shakes the ground. Got to rebuild the torque converter next. Thank you guys for watching. We'll do that, and then we're gonna go drop it in. We're gonna put this thing to work. It's past nap time, so gotta go wake him up. Woo!